Hello and welcome to Glorious Miniatures. My name's Jolyon and in today's video we have another Sunday preview. It's the 3rd of March 2024 and while you're making sure that you've liked, subscribed and indeed hit the bell for notifications, let's just get into it. The Dawnbringers Crusade continues as the Crone circles above. The Great Wheel must turn. The Twin-Tail Crusade faces ever greater challenges in the next installment of the Dawnbringer series, which heads up next week's pre-order list. Alongside 3 Spearhead boxes, terrain for Warcry and Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and a selection of Black Library books. That sounds like a lot of stuff. Let's scroll down and have a look. Dawnbringers Book 5, Shadow of the Crone. Both halves of the Twin-Tailed Crusade have battled through unimaginable horrors. Harrowed but unbroken, they now begin the hard task of founding new settlements in Aquishy and Giron. Yet as they labour to complete their task, a terrible conspiracy threatens to engulf Hammerhall Aquisha. Luckily, Hanover Toll and his companion Armand Callis are on the case, and the mysterious Crone lends them assistance from the shadows. This book features rules for Creusa the Crone plus Callis and Toll, and their ragtag band of allies, alongside a new army of renown. A new regiment of renown, the next part of the Twin-Tailed Crusade, Cities of Sigmar, Path to Glory battle pack, and strong point assault rules for the team-based matched play. My gosh, that's a lot. You can also pledge your allegiance to Morai Heg with a limited edition of Shadow the Crone, which features soft-touch full leather art with gold foil lettering, a purple ribbon marker and gilt page edges. Okay, so that is the fancy book right here, I think, with the gold here. 2 versions. Okay, good stuff. Happy days. And as you can see already down here, we got the Saviors of Cinderfall. Callis and Toll have a job to do. Protect Hammerhall Aquisha. A tough job made all the more difficult by a mysterious conspiracy involving casks of Kingsblood wine being stockpiled in the winding catacombs beneath the city. As they root out this evil, they are joined by the capable thief Lissa Ravenia and the spy master Mistress Varentia, the weaver of whispers. Valius, the keeper of Aquisha, Lord Castellan lends his celestial strength to the cause and is joined by his loyal griffhound Balthus. Rules for using these miniatures and a regiment of renown can be found in Shadow of the Crone. Okay, so hopefully we got this right here. Okay, you got some, obviously, I think we've seen these 2 miniatures before, is that correct? Potentially, if not, I know I've definitely heard of this one, Balthus, the griffhound thing. So that's what's leading me to believe that we've actually seen these 2 miniatures before. Regardless of that, that's fine. Excellent. Callis and Toll, in fact, all these miniatures, are these all being released separately? I remember thinking that I definitely want these to Callis and Toll themselves. If not for Age of Sigmar, definitely I can see them either in Necromunda or something like that. In fact, all of these look pretty Necromunda-y, especially her and the assassin here. All very cool minis. You know, I've got way too many power armored type things to paint already, so I'm not so fussed about this geezer, but the rest of these miniatures all look pretty saucy. So this regiment of renown is definitely more tempting than I expected, so happy days there. Let's scroll down. Creusa's Crone Host, the right word? Yes, Crone Host. Gifted with the power of prophecy at the cost of her material sight, Creusa, the Crone is the herald of Morai Heg, an ancient elven god consumed by Slaanesh. With the aid of divine visions and shadowy magic, Creusa leads those who have defected from Morathai Kane's side. This box pairs a new character with 5 Doomfire Warlocks, who can be built as Dark Riders, and 10 Sisters of Slaughter, who can be built as Witch Elves. The perfect way to start an army of the Crone pariahs, a new army of renown with rules in Shadow of the Crone. Okay, so here we have this as well. I've no idea how old these particular miniatures are at all. This is the brand spanking new one. Pretty snazzy mini, I must say. If you are interested in getting into this side of things and potentially starting up that new army. New army is always a good thing, obviously. And then we have, what do we have next? We have the Spearhead Stormcast Eternals. Yndrastra, the Celestial Spear, plunges from the sky to lead a new spearhead of Stormcast Eternals against the enemies of Sigmar. Supporting her are a trio of Annihilators who smash into combat with thunderous momentum. 10 Vanquishers, armed with Celestial Greatswords, a swift Stormstrike chariot pulled by specially bred Griff Chargers, and a Knight Vexilla with Banner of Apotheosis, who aids these warriors in the fight against overwhelming odds. This box contains 16 miniatures and is a fantastic starting point or expansion for Stormcast Eternal armies. So yes, indeed. I think my stance on Stormcast Eternals is, as I've said, I've already got way too many Space Marines. However, this Yndrastra herself, that is a pretty tempting model to paint at some point. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but I think it's definitely one of the more intriguing ones for me on this sort of side of things. And then as we scroll down to something way more exciting for me, the Spearhead Cities of Sigmar. The brave men and women of the Cities of Sigmar must do battle against terrifying foes and nightmarish beasts with little to aid them but the weapon in their hands and their unwavering faith. This new Spearhead box contains 17 miniatures, 10 Free Guild Steel Helms, 5 Free Guild Cavaliers, led by a veteran Free Guild Cavalier Marshal, and devastating long-range support from an Iron Weld Great Cannon. Now, off the top of my head, we have done a Cities of Sigmar army box set which was released. I'm trying to remember how much of that army box set is contained within this. I suspect the majority of it. I think it's probably missing something. For the life of me, I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was double the amount of soldiers. Let me know in the comments below. Either way, I'll put a link to that video top right of the screen right now if I can remember. So you can get a direct link to that and find out. There's some pretty snazzy minis, and honestly, right now, Age of Sigmar wise, it would be definitely something I would be interested in purchasing if I had the time to paint some of this. They got some really nice minis in this range. And honestly, even if you don't paint them up for Age of Sigmar, using them in probably the old world could be a viable option, and also taking some of these miniatures into Warhammer 40k for sort of Astra Militarum. Those sorts of heroes on horse, etc., etc. Very cool, and indeed more of a sort of feudal kind of Imperial Guard regiment if you want to do that. And then we scroll down. The Spearhead Flesh Eater Courts, or the Flesh Eater Courts. The Flesh Eater Courts suffer under supernatural delusion, which leads them to believe they're members of a noble kingdom and not the gore-slick cannibals their terrified opponents must face. Drink deep from the Mad King's chalice with his Spearhead box, which contains 15 miniatures, a powerful aberrant, archregents, and their 10 Crypt Guard attendants, who are joined by a spine-chilling Vargolf courtier and 3 Morbheg knights who ride ferocious night shriekers into battle. So some of these words are very pretty new to me, so I'm struggling with them. And we do have them right here, obviously. Yup. Flesh Eater Courts, I know a lot of people are very keen on them. For me, it's not my jam at all, but that doesn't matter. What matters is this is a new box set, and it's going to make a lot of people very happy, I think. Is it a sort of box set you buy multiple of to start a new army? I don't know. I don't play Age of Sigmar, so I don't really know how viable multiple of these things are. I would have thought probably can't go wrong, but let me know in the comments. Maybe I have some horrific advice I've just given. I wouldn't even call it a device; it was a guess at best. And then we can scroll down to Warcry Terrain. I like it. I like it a lot. As I've said for all of this, Warcry Terrain, I have liked it a lot, especially all this sort of jade or whatever it's supposed to be, stonework with the bamboo scaffolding and stuff. I think it's very cool. I wish I was into Warcry slightly more so I could get all in on it, but that's okay. 3 pieces of Warcry Terrain, the Elder Narloke. 3 pieces of Warcry Terrain, the Elder Narloke, Idol of Motzel Pota, and Starfire Pyrolan. Also returning to sale as separate releases, which you can use to pump up your Warcry collection or add to your Warhammer Age of Sigmar battlefields. That is exactly very true. Scenery is a wonderful thing. I love it. I can't wait to get into paintings. Well, painting any scenery. Painting anything, to be honest. But scenery is something I'm definitely going to be looking forward to sort of doing in the future. Like starting within 2 or 3 months once I get back to painting. I can't wait. So, yeah. And then there's the Moor Pits as well, which is this bad boy here. When the Ogre Moor tribes go to battle, gastromantic magic saturates the realms, causing great rents and churning orifices to open in the land itself. The Moor tribes believe these to be manifestations of the Great Moor, and will eagerly sacrifice unwilling victims by hurling them into pits ringed with flesh-tearing teeth. This huge terrain piece was first available in Warcry Hunter and Hunted, and will be available to pre-order separately next week. Aha! I do remember this one coming out. And I'm glad they're finally doing these, getting them available separately. Always a good thing. Then we have Callis and Toll. Before the events of Dawnbringers 5 Shadow of the Crone begin, Armand Callis and Hanover Toll are tasked by the Order of Azir to explore the underbelly of the Cinderfall district of Hammerhall Aquisha to discover the perpetrators behind grisly ritualist murder of a powerful gang lord. Callis and Toll by David Annandale gives readers a closer look at life in Hammerhall Aquisha and will be available to pre-order in hardback, ebook, and audioback formats. Okay, that's always the good stuff. I know I really like the aesthetic of these two. That's a pretty cool thing. Would I get it? Maybe. Who knows? When I get time to read even more books. Followed by Road of Skulls. Gotrek and Felix are racing towards the dwarf hold at Cadrin, which is besieged by one of the grand armies of chaos under the command of Warlord Garmer in Josh Reynolds' classic Road of Skulls, which is returning in audiobook format for pre-order next week. Okie dokie. Followed by Assassinorum Kingmaker to the French edition. The Night World of Dominion is on the verge of succeeding from the Imperium, and 2 Imperial assassins are tasked with removing the unhinged monarch and replacing them with a favoured candidate. French readers will soon be able to enjoy a tale of delicate political manoeuvring where every opponent has access to a gigantic mechanical combat suit in Robert Rath's Assassinorum Kingmaker, which will be available to pre-order in paperback and audiobook format. I like the sound of this. I'm going to have to hunt it down in English. So, okay, that's a great thing. Followed by The Fall of Cadia Part 1 to the German edition. German readers get their chance to read the first half of Robert Rath's sprawling retelling of one of the Imperium's most brutal defeats in The Fall of Cadia Part 1. This novel shifts between a perspective of high-ranking commanders and frontline troops on the battlefield, weaving a comprehensive tale that does this epic narrative beat justice. It will be available to pre-order in paperback and ebook format. Followed by Horus Heresy Omnibus 8 German edition. The next Horus Heresy Omnibus is also available to pre-order next week in German. It contains the anthology The Silent War, Gav Thorpe's Angels of Caliban, John French's Praetorian of Dawn, books 37, 38, and 39 of the Horus Heresy series. This 13th installment continues the narrative for German readers in paperback and ebook formats. Warhammer Plus stuff as per usual. So, as per usual, there's a lot of stuff. It's obviously focused on Warcry and Age of Sigmar this week. Who got stuff out of interest for the previous thing? Did anyone get in on that Solar Auxiliary Battle Force, etc.? I think this week I'll be relatively clear, thankfully. Although that Callis and Toll box set was tempting. If anything, I think that one might be the one for me, but it's probably not in the scheme of things. But I'd love to know if anything from this week is catching your eye. Potentially use my Element Games link. It is an affiliate link. If you purchase anything, it will give a tiny bit of money towards this channel and help me out a huge amount. It won't increase the cost on your side. It's just merely a thing to help this channel. If you want to also help this channel grow, I've also got memberships. So do consider looking at that as we start to get towards having a studio which is functional. I'm going to be able to start doing potential hobby evenings, etc., and stuff like that members will be able to join. But that's entirely up to you. Do make sure that you've liked, subscribed, and indeed hit the bell for notifications. And once you've done that, consider making a comment below. All that sort of stuff is a great thing. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you, and goodbye.